All right. Hi, beautiful people. I want to get into some potential stocks that you might be interested in. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am just a woman on YouTube, and this is what I would do, and this is what I would probably advise my daughter if I had one that was of age to begin investing. I would ask her, "Hey, daughter, maybe or son, have you thought about these stocks? Because you use these services all the time and you're young. So if you see these companies still being around in 5, 10, 15 plus years, then you can really grow your money with these shares, buying some shares in these companies, these American companies, and hedge your money against inflation, because you know your dollar is just spiraling down the drain right now, and the value of it is getting weaker and weaker. So I know you have Bitcoin already, and I'm proud of you for that. And I also think you should get some shares. That's the conversation I would have with my kids. So I'm making this video to my hypothetical children. I'm not saying you should do this or anything. This is just a video for my hypothetical children. Let's start with the first service that you use all the time, Lyft. And so what we're basically going to do is look at market structure, right? Let me grab my handy dandy pen. We're going to go to Lyft first. So ticker symbol LYFT, right? The ticker symbol just means what's the short abbreviation for the stock. Okay, as we can see here, Lyft started off, it IPO'd, which means initial public offering. So it IPO'd, what is that, 2019? And it IPO'd at $84, almost $90. Whoa. And then it just catapulted down, went as low as $13, came right back up. These are some huge swings, you know, but if you zoom in, there's micro swings within the huge swings. But nonetheless, it seems like we're starting to bottom out. And now I do want to mention that if you're buying shares, it doesn't necessarily matter exactly when you get the share, because there's something called DCA, which stands for dollar cost average, which is a commonly thrown around tip or suggestion from a lot of professional investors that will recommend basically that you buy a little bit here, buy a little bit there. You know, just average in, buy one share here at $19, buy one share here at $30, one at $8, so that overall, when the stock is going up and up and up, your profit is pretty much averaged. And they say that because you don't want to try to time the bottom exactly, you know? If you get into stock option trading, then trying to time the exact bottom is lucrative, but it's very hard to time the bottom. So there's often a saying that time in the market is better than trying to time the market, right? Time in the market is better than timing the market. Okay, so if you just look at what we have here, you can clearly see that we're starting to like bottom out a little bit, and we're even making a formation called a bull flag. So a bull flag is basically, here's a good example of a bull flag, right? So you have this pole, and then, oh my God, this cat. You have a pole, and then you have a flag, and then you have a second pole, right? You can see it again right here. You have a pole, you have the flag. I'll draw the flag more like a flag. And then you have the second pole. Now, fun fact, but bull flags can connect to more bull flags, which is what I believe is happening here. It's what it looks like to me. I'll delete that so you can kind of see. Like, so when you have a bull flag, just like over here, you have a pole, which is pretty much bullish movement to the upside, and then it starts to pull back. Price starts to consolidate, which means kind of go back and forth. It starts to pull back downward, though. That's the key. Starts to pull back downward, and then it gains more strength and goes to the upside. And so with this one, you can see we have this bullish pull, and then it starts to consolidate downward, making the flag, and then we blast it off. And now we're starting to pull back and go back and forth downward. And now what we might do is head upward. And a cool thing about stocks is that you can measure the pull, right? So let me make this a little bit bigger, this orange pole. So this orange pole is the pole, right? The length of the first pole is often the length of the finishing pole. And if you look at that to the left, that takes us right over to around $30. So that means that Lyft has about a $10 potential upside. Now, that means if you go on Robinhood, or if you open up a Vanguard account or a Fidelity, whatever Roth IRA or whatever brokerage you want to use, right? Because you need a platform to be able to buy your shares on. So I will leave in the description a code. If you want to use Robinhood, you can get a free stock. So if you don't have an account with them yet, you can get one. And or you can get one and you can get some free stock, and I can get some free stock as well, so I'll leave that in the description. But let's say you bought one share of Lyft, and we're just gonna round it out. So right now you can see that price is actually at 1960. So if we just estimate we just round it up to 20, right? When we do reach our price target of $30, you just made a profit of $10, right? That's like 33.3 something percent, right? So, and just imagine if you put in $100 and buy 5 shares of Lyft, that means you just made $50, right? So if my math is correct, but basically the goal is to buy low and sell high. And if you're really holding these stocks for a long time, then don't sell them. Even when we get to 30, you might not want to sell them. Maybe you can do something called trim, which is maybe sell one, take profit on 1 or 2 or just a couple, and leave some runners, which is keeping some shares just in case it, Lyft goes to 100, and then you can make even more profit, right? And so that's Lyft. I don't want this video to be too long, so I want to show you another company that you've definitely heard of that's on a different price point, but that is still making moves. So this is Meta Platforms. They used to be Facebook, but Meta owns Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. So I'm sure you have at least one of those apps downloaded on your phone, which is why if we look at this week-long chart, all we do is go up, right? We make higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. What do you think is gonna happen next, right? It's just a probabilities game. It's a pattern recognition game, you know what I mean? So if some people say that Meta is $1,000 stock, which will take us around, is this locked? Oops. Whatever. It'll take us around $1,000, which is right around here. So that's a very real potential reality, right? And this is on the weekly. So each of these candles represents one day. If I move it to the 4-hour, each of these candles represents 4 hours. And so it basically is telling you, where price opened and where it closed. And just like life, it has its ups and downs, but overall it's up, right? And so if you look right here, I want you to tell me, if you're learning this well, what does this look like to you? What does this look like to you? What do we call this? Yes, that's a bull flag, right? So as we can see, if you measure that bottom to that top, it'll take us somewhere up here, right? Approximately somewhere up here. eventually it'll take us higher, right? Because we can, if this was all-time highs up here, we could totally get all the way back up here and eventually get all the way up there. But you know, we have to take it step by step, okay, chapter by chapter, because stocks is really just like life. And so anyway, one more, because we don't want this video to be too long. Should we look at Nike? Maybe we could look at Nike. Nike has fallen a little bit really quick. Nike has fallen quite a bit. And you might be asking, what is that red, yellow, and green Rasta looking flag on her chart? Now that's called a Fibonacci retracement. And that kind of tells us where the tops and bottoms and high probability bounce zones might be, because now there's billions of dollars, trillions even, that run through the stock market on a daily, weekly basis, right? And some of these are based on algorithms and bots and automated. When price gets here, automatically things get sold, automatically things get bought. And so certain zones have really strong reactions. And if you can anticipate those bounces, then you can monetize on them, especially if you're doing stock option trading. But I suggest starting, and I'm suggesting to my hypothetical children, so not you viewer, but my hypothetical children who will never see this video. But I would suggest to you, hypothetical child, that you start off with buying just stocks to keep it risk, like to keep it minimal risk, right? Until you really start to learn what you're doing with stock options. It's going to take a lot of studying, maybe get a course. Depending on who you are, you can message me and I have a free course that I'll send to you, because I already purchased it and I'm not gatekeeping over here. So let me know if you would like that. Email me and tell me your situation and I can send you over the credentials, okay? Period. And so I have nothing to sell you, at least not yet. I have nothing to sell you, but I am an educator, so I would love to eventually have products that are for purchase for folks. Anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that because that's not really relevant right now. But as you can see, Nike has been making a bunch of bear flags. So the same way we can have a bull flag that looks like this, boom, 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 bop. You can also have bear flags that look like boom, 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 bop, boom, 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 bop. Another bear flag, bop. And now it seems like we're starting to try to climb up higher. Now there's some nuance that I see that you probably don't see. We don't have to get into that, but I just want to let you guys know that there are certain stocks that are very well loved that are on sale. Here, I will take you down to one more because I know you love your makeup, right? Now let's look at this one. This one is called Elf. Elf had a really good day today. Elf had a really good day today. Elf came from high levels as well. They were way up here in the 200 levels and then came all the way down. Look at that, made a bear flag, came all the way down, started to go up, made a bull flag, had a false breakout. Because if this were to continue on this bull flag pattern, it should have ended somewhere around here, which correlates with these areas over here. Like when you start to learn trading, you start to see the patterns. This is also called an inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, this looks like a head and that looks like someone's shoulder, and they're upside down smiling. Now let's erase all that, clean that up, get serious real quick. So as you can see, we did not finish that bull flag all the way, and so instead we came up halfway, came all the way down. Now that pretty much is giving us another entry. So you can also buy this stock, which is $82, but you see where it came from and where it has potential to go again, all the way in the 220 level. So that's a lot of profit right there if you just buy one share. So what I would say, what I would recommend, and what I would want you to think about a little bit is that the folks that are in the White House right now, they like their money, right? If you were talking about Trump and who he has on his team with him, they're probably all business people. They're all business minded. They're all about their money, and they're all kind of like in cahoots with each other, and they all have shares. They all have stocks and investments and assets, right? Because you have real estate that can be an asset, right? You can own a commercial building or something. You can own a house that you rent out. You can own gold, physical silver, things like that. You can own Bitcoin, or you can own stock. You know, you can own intellectual property as well. But yeah, you can own stock. And so a lot of these folks own stock, and Trump is promising massive returns, right? Like he's tweeted, hey, now's a good time to buy, and the stock market will shoot up the next day, you know? And so he's been kind of sounding the alarms, like, hey guys, this economy, I'm about to really make this stuff pop, you know? And so I wouldn't want my kids to be on the sideline with their money in a savings account, regular savings account, or in a regular bank account like Wells Fargo or Chase or something, and their money is just slowly losing buying power when their money could be in an investment account and it's going up. Elf is going up, Meta's going up, Nike's going up. And just for Kiki's sake, I want you guys to also look at Celsius. One more, because I know you kids like Celsius, right? Look at what happened right here. Remember the fib? So if you take the bottom of this fib, bring it up to the top, usually we get a pop before it reaches this red line. And that correlates right here with this 200. So there's just a lot of what we call confluence, which means a lot of things line up all at the same time. So let's say you saw it come here, and it tagged you in. That's your alert. That's your buy zone. That's your target entry price, right? That price was at about $40, right? You got in at $40, and now look at what the price is at. It's already at $50. If you would have bought one share of Celsius, when was this? November 17th. If you were to buy one share to December 1st, let's say on December 1st, you bought one share of Celsius. By today, a month later, you would have made $10 by doing nothing, right? Now imagine if you bought a lot of these shares, and imagine if you continue to compound this, right? This can be very powerful, because that same $40 that would have been sitting in your bank account is probably now worth like $39 or $39.50 or something. Like, it's been slowly depreciating. And reminder that I am not a financial advisor. Don't really listen to anything I'm saying, but it can be food for thought. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Like, comment, and subscribe, and take care of yourselves. Have a beautiful 2025. All right, now, peace.